My whole life they didn't want me
Taste the
to do shit.
motherfucking freedom.
You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? Where
Get
you
kind
gonna
of
go?
crazy sometimes, you know what I'm
How
saying?
you
You
gonna
just
make
got
some
shit, I
money?
just push, you know what I'm saying? Me, the way I work is I keep operating because I never fail, you know what I'm saying? I fall, I pick myself back up, I keep going, you know what I'm saying? Time to march, fuck what happens, you know?
King's
You
Logic,
can't take me
Email
down.
D.
There's no force in
There you
this
go,
world that
Vine.
can fucking cancel my energy. Fuck it, you know? Let's go, man.
Yo, key, what? I'm back. Lace the track. Already twisted, no need to introduce. Get lifted one line. Political rap, milk, killing cancer like pills. Pop the general, it's arsenic. Retarded to the flame. Go against the grain, feel the same numb pain. Fuck shots, grab the bottle. Getting hollow, run for cover like the day after tomorrow. You can say it's chill, life's cold, but keep it real. Undercover, lost the battle, but still won the war. Dark side of the force, mind trick, transform. Jedi John Connor, doing what you wanna. Puffin' nails, hydroponics, getting lost in the madness. Sustained at the level that you practice. On my own planet while I bring it back to Earth. Crashing like a comet and I'm coming feet first. Fuck that, already spent and it ain't no apple pie. Try to tell the truth when you living in a lie.
Hello, what's up? Welcome back to Tills from the Chris, a mucosal melanoma survivor podcast. I'm your host, Chris White, mucosal melanoma survivor, thriver, and advocate. Please welcome Miss Robyn Fine as we continue with episode 9, part 3.
Over my head, but it is
Right.
really interesting on what they are coming up with. So
Do you do any of the CDMRP peer review or consumer review work, or the MRP work, or MRF and that kind of? Are you into that realm, right?
I've been on the CDMRP 3 years now. I've been on a peer reviewer 3 years. So yes, I do that. So it's to me it's interesting to learn. Okay, we get we advocate for the 40 million.
Right.
From the DOD, and
Yeah.
then to go on the CDMRP, be a peer reviewer to kind of figure, okay, this is the research that they're going to be working on with this money.
You ask for this money, and here's the money. Now we get to decide who
who gets,
we can try to help, where it's going to go. Like,
right.
So the CDMRP, and then is there because there's two different deals now, and I talked to Patrick about this because I'm doing it now too. So to try to help clarify, but through the MRF, they have the MRP program, right? To where you you're not doing that.
No.
Okay.
I've never been on
But
that.
who nominated you for the CDMRP? What did you know what organization?
The first time it was AIM, and the other times it was the MRF.
It was the MRF, right? Yeah, the MRA nominated me, and so I'm doing it. I'm doing it this year. I'm on it. I haven't got my first deal yet, but through them. But yeah, I did that, and then I'm also doing the MRP consumer reviewer through the MRF, and I got my first deal on that. I'm reading through right now, and so but I like your experience for the CDMRP. It was all virtual. Did you do it in person the first year, and then you went and did virtual, or?
I was all virtual.
Okay, so all virtual. Right on. And then so it's just like a renewal or something.
Yeah, maybe it is 3 years. I don't know. Those logistics really pay much attention to.
Yeah, they told me that it would still be virtual this year, but next year it would start being in person. And so I was like, that'd be like going up there for advocacy days again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all about it.
Oh, it's so much better.
Oh yeah. You can feel the vibe, you know what I mean? Like, it's so different. Like, I felt like literally during advocacy days when we were in there. I mean, can't you feel it when you're talking and telling your story kind of, what I'm saying? It's like the people that are like, on the other end are like, you can see it in their eyes. They're like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Like, it's impactful rather than just reading a statement or doing, doing it. It's just so different,
Always better. That's why I like to do the in-person, even the presentations. It's so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Make the connection with your audience better. And you can make questions. And yes, I love that about that in person.
I when I got back from Washington, I started just like really digging into like a bunch of different advocacy things and stuff. But Rare Disease Week, leads. It's like the last week in February, and they have like a Hill Day kind of a thing going on up there prior to the MRF's advocacy days. And so I was looking into that, and so there's and Patrick I think knows about some of this because I was talking to him about it. But I want to be able to go to Washington for that week and do that advocacy group thing and stuff because mucosal melanoma is, it's rare in the melanoma world, so I consider it rare, but it'd be cool to go up there and just the more I could talk and tell. And then, but I looked it up, and between that, the MRA scientific retreat and patient exchange forum, and plus the MRF advocacy days, it'd be like almost like 3 weeks in a row, maybe taking up the weekends, going to Washington, like, I'm like super stoked. I mean, and then I came back from that, and I wrote down like this list of like 25 different events that go on, throughout the next year, like through next year's advocacy days. And wow. It included, like a lot of the ASCO main event in Chicago. Okay. And I actually, I filled out a deal for a scholarship, but I'm almost positive there was like an answer on it. Instead of saying, I was going, as a ambassador through the MRA, I put like through myself for my new, mucosal melanoma survivor. I didn't know what to put, and so I think that kind of sunk my ship on going. But they would have paid, But there's ASCO, and there was a bunch of events that go on throughout the year, and then the SITC, which is the Society of Immunotherapy of Cancer. I became an advocate member with them, and that's each year, is when they do the updates on the clinical trial that I was in, and I saw like the portfolio deal of last year's like thing, and I was like, man, I got to go to this next year. But that's in San Diego this year on November 1st through the 5th, and then right after that, the SMR, which is Society of Melanoma Research, has theirs in Philadelphia. From like the 6th through the 9th or something of November. But I'm trying to get like I have a good friend. She's like the research, the head person of mucosal melanoma research over at CU Anschutz. My oncologist up there like connected me with her. That's how I got connected to the MRF. Okay. Was because she's the one who told me that there was the MRF was doing a 100% mucosal melanoma hybrid thing down in New York and at Columbia University last December, and wanted me to speak on a panel. And so I was like, yeah, they said that they would pay for my airfare and hotel. I was like, hell yeah, I've never been to New York, badass. And so I was like, well, my mom was my caregiver. I was like, could she come and tell her story? So I was like, I could get her a trip to New York. That'd be cool. And stuff, and so yep. And so me and my mom went. That's where I met JB in person. But I sat JB and another gentleman, got behind the podium and gave a speech, and then earlier in the deal, and then at the very end, me and this it was like a 5-person panel, doing the microphone back and forth thing, and stuff, and then each one of us got up behind the thing and told our story real quick. Or whatever, did a slideshow thing and stuff. And so I did a slideshow and told my story and stuff. And I haven't seen the footage from it, but it was from like last December. So, but that's how I got connected with the MRF. Okay. But yeah, Dr. Couts up there with all the research, and she said she's speaking at the SMR. So I'm like, I would love to do that. There's an AACR and an ASCO event, like it's both of them are, they get together, and they normally get together in Vail, but this year they're going to be in La Jolla at Torrey Pines in California doing their event, and that's in July. I would love to go to that, be able to just mingle with all the immunotherapy folks and the oncology world and stuff, and be like, oh, the work y'all are doing, like, that's me, thank you, and just kind of be able to go around and tell everybody, hey, the work y'all are doing, like, that's the people like me, what I'm saying, like.
One year, I can't remember, 2018 maybe it was, my doctor asked me to fly. They flew me out to San Francisco, and I went with him. Well, he flew separately, but we met out in San Francisco, and I was able to speak to 300 researchers that worked, was when it was about IPI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I got to speak with 300. I got to tell my story to 300 researchers about.
So is it approved when you took it, or was it still in trial phase?
It was approved.
But it was brand new, right?
Brand new.
So you were like one of the first couple of people that started, something like that kind of.
Yeah, it was right away. And so I flew out. through Verily Science. Verily Science. They flew me out to talk to the researchers that had worked. And then it was really funny because after we presented to the researchers, it was myself and my oncologist, a neurosurgeon, and a handful of researchers. They took me out to dinner.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting around this table with all of these guys talking science all over my head. And it was so funny because I'm just like, And the woman next to me was from a researcher from Italy. And she started talking to me about like living in San Francisco and what it was like, and just we were carrying on like a normal conversation. And I was like, okay,
isn't that cool? That's like you're in the room with like the top heads of the field, kind of a thing. You're like, oh, it's like same thing. Like that's how it was in New York. Like Dr. Caval, he put it all together, and 2 nights in a row took us out to dinner, but it was like you had Patel from MD Anderson, you had Caval, you had Satari, you had like all the main heads that are like in mucosal melanoma world. You had a couple more doctors from MD Anderson. Like their names are slipping right now, but I mean I got a picture I need to post up. But hopefully, I mean the MRF, they still have more photos and video from that event and everything. But it was like like how cool would that be if that's literally like what that's what I want to do. I want to be able do that for a living. You go around and talk to everybody and share your story, and like I mean there's just so many different events throughout the year. I mean like coming up to like the MRF's doing like all the 5Ks throughout and everything. Well, they don't have one in Dallas, but they have one in out in Denver, outside of Denver, in June 10th. And so I was like, well, that's, I could go out there for that and do the volunteer thing, and then, but if it lines up, I'd go volunteer, some more, at other events, because they have some presence out there. They have their gala this year, their Denver gala, like in September, and it actually, that'll line up, with my, with the set of scans I had this year. I go back at the end of June for scans, but 3 months later, that'll be at the same time that the Denver gala is. So I'm going to try to, go volunteer for that.
Pat and I went to the gala, the New York gala, one year.
Well, oh, really? I put Pat, I put y'all on the deal. That I don't know if you got the email, but I put y'all on the list for the New York gala this year.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you still have to buy a ticket, unfortunately. Like I did confirm that, for a second I was thinking like, well, if I put them on a list, I get them in, and it's like, no, Chris, you get one person.
The gala was great. We had a great time, and it was, and
but,
Katie, the
was she the MC for the night? Yeah, yep. That was that year. But yeah, so tell me about it, because like I've only seen like some video clips and stuff. Like, what's it like being at that event?
I thought it was a little bit intimidating. You're dressed up to the nines, and it's, they have auction items, they have dinner, but the speaking was amazing. We got to hear from all these survivors that got up and told their story, a little bit about themselves and why they were nominated. There was different awards that they received, and it was, I mean, I made some connections, but it was harder because it was a more formal event. Or like when we went to the Hill Day, you can just be yourself and talk and be real and just, but it was really beautiful, and it was a nice ceremony, and it was fun to make the connection. So yeah.
Do you remember who the Courage Award winners for the year you were there? Remember any of that?
I don't. It was a while ago. Pat, what was Pat's award for? Pat,
was he a Courage Award winner, or was he an advocacy winner? Or?
He was one of the speakers. He was he might have been part of that MC group.
Oh, okay. No, oh yeah, I remember him telling me how he met her and did all that. So that might have been something. Yeah.
I swear.
Patrick, yeah. He's in everything.
My chemo brain still is. I just don't remember a lot, but.
Like for me, I'm just sitting here thinking like, this is like literally like my birthday and Christmas, and like the party I never had, when I I had a birthday party, because I got out of the hospital in January. My birthday's in March, March 7th. And so it was like, it was like I had some of my family come over. Then right after that, all the COVID started and everything. It was like, you know, there wasn't going to be like I wasn't going to be able to have like a, hey, Chris is healthier and better. Let's get all the friends and family like and have like a party. You know what I'm saying? Like a celebration and this and that. So I'm like, man, like this is kind of like that recognition. You know, I'm almost like, oh, you know, it's just like so like. It's for real, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just so fired up and stoked, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get to go back to New York.
I celebration, what I call is my celebration of life every October 1st, because that's the year that I was diagnosed and I'm still alive. So I either sometimes have a party for myself. Last year I did a spa day. You know, I celebrate that because I'm still alive. I'm still here. And after stage 4, you know, there's no 5. So it's like, you know what? I deserve to celebrate life still. And
well, so, like, it's always like your 5-year, I was told, is a big milestone when melanoma survival. And then, you know, every 5-year, you know, it's like dominoes, you know what I'm saying? 5, 10, you know, you just keep stacking them. And like, so you're on the 10 plus now, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This would be moving on to your 11th year.
I'm not, well,
or so, or.
Yeah, I'm right in between 9 and 10 right now. Yep.
Okay. Still, I mean, freaking.
The greatest gift of this whole thing.
What's that?
Okay. So when I was diagnosed, stage 4 in 2012, my daughter was early teens, and she's very, very smart. And she said, "You know what? I want to be a cancer researcher." And I was like, "Wow. That's really, really cool."
And she said that when she was 14?
Yeah, she was like 13, 14.
I wanted
to research. I wanted to be a cancer researcher. And I was like, wow, Hannah, that's really cool. Thank you. So when my brother died in 2015, my daughter was like, you know what, Mom? I want to be an oncologist. And I was like, wow, Hannah, that's really cool. That's really cool. My daughter graduated from college with she actually was able to job shadow my oncologist at Mayo Clinic.
Really? Yep. Oh, awesome. What?
And she was in college and she graduated with degrees in biochemistry and biology. She had asked my oncologist, what do I need to do this? And he said, get a degree in chemistry, not biology, get a degree in chemistry because we need chemistry in research.
So you can figure out all the treatments.
So she graduated with degrees in biochemistry and biology with straight A's.
Wow.
She worked 2 years in a blood research lab. I leave tomorrow to move my daughter to Nebraska. It's University of Nebraska Medical College in Omaha. And
awesome.
she got accepted into the MD PhD program there.
Wow.
And she is going to do cancer research and become an oncologist.
Awesome. That is so cool. How long is her deal in Omaha? Wow. Like what?
8-year program.
It's a how long? 8 years?
8-year program. And she wants to do, and I hope my oncologist is still around. She wants to do her fellowship under my oncologist at Mayo Clinic, and he wants her to do that.
So she's got to go spend 8 years down in Omaha and then come back and
do fellowship at Mayo. If he's still around, that's where she wants to do her fellowship. But I mean, I think my brother would be so proud.
Well, check that circle of life right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how about that?
I know. Isn't that is just like,
oh man,
the silver lining
yeah,
all of this, even though, you know, we've had so much heartache and so much terrible.
You find the things that, you know, you feel are meant to be kind of a thing, you know?
I know.
I mean, there were decisions when you're going through your treatment, you're just like, no, this meant to, this is the path of the treatment I should go, or this is the net, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, I know, like, all right, I got to go do this, or I got to go do that. Like, you're confident with your next step, like, you know.
She's doing it. I can't believe it. It's amazing. So yeah, I leave tomorrow to move her in because June 5th.
That's cool.
June 5th, she starts, they have a crash course in anatomy, June 5th, 2 weeks.
She's doing summer school down there as soon as she moves in.
Yep. And then she goes right into the research lab right after that. And then medical school starts. She has her white coat ceremony August 18th, where she gets her little doctor's jacket. So you know who she is when she's walking around.
Oh, how cool is that?
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome. So how far is that from where you're at up in Minnesota? Like, I mean,
5.5
Omaha.
hours.
Okay, so you just drive, or is it a short flight, or?
I'm gonna drive.
You just drive, yeah.
Drive tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Help into our apartment and.
Cool deal. And then how long do you stay down there for?
I'm just gonna.
Be able to hang out with her for a little bit, or?
Nope, no, because I mean, just a few days because she starts.
Oh, because she's got to start class immediately.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's a quick trip. I mean.
But you know, it's only 5.5 hours away, so it's gonna be great.
Yeah. So yeah, anytime you can always.
Now. She's in Alabama right now, so it's.
Oh, okay.
It'll be closer. So yeah, isn't that cool? So yeah.
Wow, that is super cool. What a proud moment. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Well, I know, but
that is awesome. From 14 to now, like.
She's 25. Yep.
Wow.
So yep,
That's awesome.
You're gonna
proud mommy moment.
You're gonna do this for us. So.
That is major cool. That is super major cool.
We'll have to follow her.
Man.
See where she's at along her.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yep.
Like, so does she like she'll be doing like literally all the like clinical trial kind of research and stuff like, I mean.
Well, I mean, you mean after school?
Yeah, I mean that exactly. Like, I mean, is that what she's going to be digging in? And,
yeah, I think that's what she'd like to do is, work. She wants to be an oncologist, but because my oncologist is a MD PhD, and that's what he does. He creates clinical trials, and he also sees patients.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, those docs are busy people.
Brilliant.
Yeah, super smart, very busy. It's like, wow, like that's insane.
I know.
Oh man.
You have to follow her to, we'll make sure.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yep. And then whatchamacallit, what about you and Patrick, like the Melanoma Action Coalition? Like, so that's from a bunch of that all got started from the group of people in New York, right? Isn't that or how did that start?
I don't really know much about that, honestly.
No.
I'm gonna say I'm kind of
kind of out on that.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of it with Pat, he quit his full-time job to do this.
So he's engaged in everything. So
I still have to work a full-time job. And
yeah.
So the whole goal is that we could get enough funding so that I could, Cheryl and I could both quit our jobs and do the Connect On.
Yeah.
Then I could be more involved in all of that. But
yeah,
he's kind of the guy on that. I love to do the educational piece, and I love talking to people about, like telling your story and educating people, because a lot of people don't know. They just don't know.
Well, like I left the home building world last July, and so now it's about 10 months, I guess, and had a little bit of 401k, like not much savings or anything, but like credit, I spent 20 some years building my credit up, so I've been living off credit cards. But it's gonna run out. But it's like I believe in myself so much that I'm just like I'm not 100% sure, but it was like I would love to be like a keynote or something. I was like something to where I could literally make a living off of being an inspirational speaker, not motivational, but an inspirational. You know what I'm saying? Two different. You know what I'm saying? Like. Because it was literally, a lot of like I said, the sense of urgency and like the attitude and the belief factor, I think, is what, did a lot for me, between, the different treatments and getting to the next one. But that whole belief factor, just that sense of urgency, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it's like early on, and that just never left. And so, I mean, I attribute that, a lot to, making it through. And it was just like, and people literally be like, well, what if you get the chance to go speak and you talk and you be like, well, what sets you apart? And just be like, well, I don't know, but what I did know was I believed in myself enough. You know what I'm saying? Like it all started there. You know what I'm saying? And so it
The
was like
attitude
it
and
was
the
willing to
belief.
do whatever you had to do, to get through it. And it was like nothing was gonna, tell me no. And if I was going out, I was going out swinging. I was going out hard. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going out like a punk. You know what I'm saying? It was like
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Like so they're. What's my legacy? I mean, I didn't have any kids. I'm saying, I'm Uncle Chris, you know what I'm saying? So, my nieces and nephews, keep me going. But like buck stops with me in terms of like, my individual, legacy. And it was like, like how's this going to go? And so it was like, well, if you go share that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't seem so devastating, when you do get these diagnoses, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, like, you don't know unless you try. So, start fighting, fight hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you got to lose? I mean, because, if you don't, you'll never,
you don't know.
Yeah. You don't know. So you got to put it, put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was everything, and then after that, I mean, yeah, all the medications and the treatments and this and that, but as it is with melanoma, you don't necessarily feel it or know it. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of times you get diagnosed, and it's your stage 3 or 4, because it's all in the inside, and even if you have, your terminal, stage 4 or whatever, you're walking around and like, like everything was all good. I mean, I remember telling people, they're like, how are you doing? Oh man, I got stage 4 cancer. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's all good though. You can't tell.
Felt sick. The treatments made me sick, but I never felt sick.
Yeah. It's that's the thing with melanoma. It doesn't do that. Like a lot of other like because for a lot of our treatment, we're not doing traditional chemotherapy. It's a lot of immunotherapies and other things, and so you don't get that. I'm losing my hair. I mean, I did chemo a couple of times in between some stuff. But even the chemo I didn't really make me lose my hair completely. One of the chemos, made it to where it was like kind of thinning out, so I just kind of shaved it, but it never completely like lost it. You know what I'm saying? It was only during the TIL depletion where I really lost, but that's that's the kind of stuff that makes you sick. And so if you unfortunately get this diagnosis, then unfortunately do have to do treatment, that they're always looking at toxicities and how you handle that. I mean, look at both of us with the colitis, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's other guys that has gotten a DKA, a diabetic ketoacidosis, I mean, he's actually the only person I've ever known, but I mean, it happened to him, like people going to sepsis, you know what I'm saying? Like from immunotherapy, like, I mean, I had conjunctivitis and uveitis in both my eyes from all the immunotherapy. Yeah. So
there's a lot of the endocrinology problems, with the thyroid and the.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm on Synthroid, you know what I'm saying? Or Levotaxin. And that's another thing. So that's a whole nother doctor you're throwing into it. Cause if you see a specialist for that, it's an endocrinologist. Right. And like, they're always, every time I go in and pull labs, they're always, checking your TSH levels and everything. So, they want you within this, like, this graph. And so for a long time, I mean, like when I was trying to get it right, I was always on the edge somewhere. And so we were always trying to adjust it. And I finally got to it to where now I'm in the middle. And so it's like, but I don't know about anybody. I mean, but I could literally feel the difference in myself and my metabolism, like my anxiety, just my, like, am I like too tired? Am I too wired? Am I, what I'm saying? Like when my thyroid was off. And so, yeah, I mean, I could feel the difference.
I never had that.
Like when it was like, oh, it's good, but it was on the edge, and my doctor was fine. We wanted to get it more in the middle. You have the deal, and you don't want to be really teetering on the edge. You want to be in the middle somewhere. And so, but that was one of the first effects from immunotherapy, like almost immediately when I started doing. Was it through my thyroid act?
Yeah,
I mean, what about you? I mean, like, did it like? No.
No. Mine was just, it started with the itching and then the colitis. Those are the side effects.
Okay, so no thyroid issues on, everything's still cool with that?
Yeah. So that was it. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's not bad. I mean, what about, do you have any nerve damage from your surgeries? I mean, like, what about your, the plate in your head? I mean, is everything still good in terms of?
Sometimes I have a little bit, I have a couple sore spots. And
you gotta find the humor, So I mean, I've made a couple of reels about this recently, but straight up, like, when you get diagnosed and have anal rectal, it's all your doctor appointments are, let me check your asshole, sir. Excuse me. And so I took the South Park reel, and I used it, and then I also used another one where it's Chef from South Park, and he's like a proctologist. Oh, somebody looks at asshole though. Why would you want to get a proctologist? And I put up these little sayings that go in there. It's like, I thought I had an hemorrhoid. I didn't do anything, and I do it with reels, but I took, but it's like, that's one of the things I try to do in the beginning was I try to find the humor and just be like, I'm not sitting around somber, going on my appointments, talking about how morbid this is possibly and terminal and all these other buzzwords that don't need to go into, what I'm saying? Right. What's the positive we can find? I mean, so that was kind of the humor I had to find in it.
You kind of have to find a little bit of humor
and so, yeah, I mean, but that's what, you go to all your appointments, and that's mainly especially on my dermatology checks. I'd never even been to a dermatologist until I got diagnosed with mucosal melanoma, and they said, well, since the word melanoma is in your diagnosis, you should start seeing a dermatologist, and make sure your moles, because I used to have moles before, my tilt treatment, and stuff, not many and this and that, but whatever. And then, but it was every 3 months. And, after a while, I was like, this is intense, every 3 months and stuff. I was like, and then after my, treatment, it was like, I don't even have any moles. And so, I just go every 6 months. And my dermatologist is super cool, but I don't go in and put on the gown and just sit there naked while I wait for them. What I do is I just, I just sit there and play on my phone, and I wear my clothes, and then the doc will come in and we shoot the shit. And then, I'll just take off, my shirt and do the top half. And then we'll just shoot, have a conversation while she looks me over, and then I'll put back on my shirt and all that. And then, I'll drop trowel, my pants and everything. And then she'll look around, and, I'll spread, and she'll look at, my buttocks, make sure to look around there, what I'm saying, and everything. So I get everything still looked at, but it was when I very first met her, I had went in on a day after I had my surgery, from my rectum, where I had that deal removed. And so I was still under anesthesia that afternoon when I met her on pain meds and shit and stuff. And so, but I mean, I had so many doctor appointments that were back to back, with my first oncologist and the dermatologist, and then going and get scans, and then going down to MD Anderson, and then meet, but it's all these appointments over and over again of where you're repeating yourself and telling your story. And it's don't you have these in your notes? It's in the computer. I've said this 8 million times already to everybody. And you're sitting there naked in this thing. And I told the doc, I was like, look, kind of gives me PTSD to do this, and I'm not doing it anymore. And I was like, I'll totally come to all our appointments, but please. And so she's like, yeah, well, it's a BR thing. It's all good. You don't have to do that. And so I was like, thank God. But I don't do that at appointments. I don't go sit up on that, I'll sit in a chair, that's by the desk, I don't go get up on the table. And I'm like, I was like, dude, I'm lucky to be here. We're going to get stuff checked out, but I'm not sitting here, just waiting for you,
Right.
Yeah, just because my head just, it's just too many of I was like, yeah, I was done with it. You know what I'm saying? I had this weird PTSD thing about it. And I was just like, we're still going to get checked. And she, looks at everything, but, and then, and so I catch her up on what's going on and everything and all that. And so, but, still go do the dermatology checks, all my UPF. I mean, I'm kind of sad that month of May is coming to a close, because it's been huge this month being able to it's every day, on my platforms, I'm trying to share, trying to do this, trying to see what's going on, everything. And I'm like, it's just get engaged, get involved, do what you can. And it's all right, we got a few more days into next week and it's over. But
well, you can keep advocating. Nobody says you can't, right?
It's all good, but it's like Christmas or your birth. It's just because it's once a year doesn't mean you shouldn't celebrate it year round. You know what I mean? Or any holiday. It's every day. June 4th, I believe this year is National Cancer Survivors Day.
It is. They actually have,
isn't it June 4th, right?
They have a 5K up here near me.
Oh, really? Are you going to that, or they do 5Ks for National Cancer Survivor Day? I need to find where there's one, the closest one to me. That would be cool.
They do.
There's got to be a national or something around Dallas.
Yeah, you'll have to look there. I think there's one. Yeah, there's one near me on June 4th, I think it is. Yeah.
I need to get a hold of Julie because we got together on that AIM deal, but I want to get together with her some more on trying to do some stuff like you know, where the representatives from Texas, and she messaged me the other day saying that she wanted to do like a book, you know, between me, her, or something. I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, anything, you know what I'm saying? You let me know whenever's clever, and like, you know, let's get it out. But, you know, any way possible, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're here to do. And so, but yeah, these podcast deals are, you know, I'll cut it into a few pieces. I'll probably cut this one into like at least 3. We've almost talked for 2 hours.
I know. I just looked back. I'm like, oh.
You know, but it's been one of the coolest conversations. I mean, they get better and better. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just like let the conversation run and see what, you know. But in terms of being like the way I'm editing them and uploading it, you know, I'm doing it real ABC style. You know, so. But the longer the videos, the harder it is, you know, to upload it. And it takes, you know, so anyways, cut them into shorter pieces and stuff. And then, but as much that I can put out there, you know, I still have a little bit of a backlog for, you know, during the month of May, you know, other than, you know, still, you know, that's more, you know, when people go hit they have the word melanoma and survivor in their search, you know what I'm saying? Yep. I always put mucosal melanoma survivor on the hashtags and stuff, you know, but the 2 words, you know, I put melanoma awareness. It's like, you know, month of May.
Have you ever Googled my name?
Just straight up Googled now. Oh. I mean, like I'm connected to you on a lot of our platforms and stuff, but I've never just Googled your name.
I love that. I love Googling my name sometimes, because when I Google my name, I'm like, oh, I've done so much in the past with, you know, my story is really.
Well, all the speeches that you said that you were being able to get invited to, I mean, that's super cool. I would love to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, how many opportunities have you been able to go do that since it had come out? I mean,
how many, like,
where you get invited to go speak about your experience because of yeah.
Okay. Just from my name being out there, it's been, let's see. Well, I was a keynote speaker. This was a long time ago at a college for their honor society. That was a long time ago. I got invited for that. And then, of course, the one out in North Dakota, I was invited. I don't know. Just when people, after you get your name out there, people will start calling you.
What? I was like, I don't know. I'll just auction all 3. I mean, I might keep one. But, you know, I was trying to gather swag and everything. Like, that's WM. The MRF sent me like 100 bottles of Goop sunscreen.
I saw that. I saw your post before. That's
and then the 100 Coolie Bar bandana thingies or whatever, and then the sun strips. I got I think 100 of those. And out in Texas, you know, the ones with the camo, those will go quick out here, you know. But they're just a bunch of random ones in each one, you know. So I'm gonna have to let them up and be like, I mean, create a QR code for them at the thing so they can order directly from them, you know. But just you know, I got a buddy that runs a fishing charter, and I'm gonna see if he'll donate like a day with, you know, 2 people out on his boat, you know, to go you know, that fishing thing I just did last week. Yeah, I've known that buddy of mine since I was 16 years old. You know, he quit his job in corporate America, you know, Mr. Matt Mosley from, you know, Team M&M Fishing, but he worked at corporate world, and it was just like, you know, had a point in his life where it was like, you know, do what you love, you know, and it's all good. And so, like, but yeah, I mean, don't live far. The lake, you know, was one of the biggest lakes around. It's like not just majorly populated. It's Lake Texoma is where we go, you know, and so it's the border, you know, Texas, Oklahoma. And so, we go up there, and he's been fishing that lake his entire life because his grandparents have a house on that lake. So he's been going out there and going fishing forever, you know. And so, I mean, that one fish, I mean, like I didn't actually catch that real big one. It was in the picture, but I got to hold it for the picture. I caught the other two. I mean, I caught 3 fish, but I held up the others. But yeah, that one, it was like, look at this, like that's Stratford. I mean, I took it home and vacuum sealed some and then ate some and stuff. I mean, but it's good and stuff. And so it's like, you get on the dock by like 6, and then we fished, and then we got back in like by like 11 or I don't know, like it was all good and stuff. And it was like, people pay like $500, they'll do that for, like starter for the morning, or whatever. And it was like, he's going to come on down there. And so I'm going to see if he'll donate, or, like a 1-day deal, but that at the same time, he could advertise for himself, to, doing that. But it was like, stuff like that. I'm like, man, I got to get a lot of people, or I didn't, I'm real new to the like fundraising thing. So, like I got the Just Giving thing. I got a QR code. I didn't set like and I should probably do this, but, I put up a thing like, here's our goal, but I'm not sure, like, can I get your advice? I mean, like, what would be a good goal? I mean, like it's a 100-player tournament, plus spectators. And, the registration fee is $45 a person. So, 45, I mean, there's only so much money's coming out of that. But in terms of being, we have, I'm going to have the QR code set up, and everything, so they could just do the Just Giving thing to go, so I'll be able to try to, by, having the registration, getting the swag and, getting the full field, then we'll get the spectators, to come and then, but I'm like, what's a modest goal, I guess. I mean, that's not reaching too far for the stars and, out of this world, ridiculous, stupid, or, I mean, it's not like I've been planning it for a year to where I could set, like, if I was planning it for a year and, was advertising it for a year, I would set a large number, you know what I mean? Because, I would have a lot of, things into it, you know what I'm saying? But being that it's a couple of months worth of planning, and, I feel I should, be like a fraction of like what it would be if I would do it for a year. So, I mean,
what were you thinking?
It would be super cool to get like, I mean, honestly, like I would really love to be able to donate like 10K,
kind of what I was thinking.
Because, I mean, like it was one of those things like it'd be really cool like to donate 100K, but like what the thing is like, I'm still building my name, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard. I mean, and I push and promote, who I am and what I do. And I put out, stuff about, these tournaments and stuff, but, I got to get known, to where it's like, oh, Chris is doing this, you should donate. And then people are going to be wanting to donate, what's
kind of on what you auction off too. If you're going to auction some things off. So.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was, because I think over we're doing the pickleball spout at, like I think they'll auction off lessons or I mean, they'll also have pickleball paddles and like, some of the sponsors that, that we get some Vulcan, water jugs and paddles and because, Melissa, our friend, she's sponsored by them and, because she's a teacher and, or, I mean, some stuff like that. I mean, but like, maybe, bigger ticket items, like one, like that fishing charter, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like worth $500, but that's how much it is to the guy for his everything. But for us, for he could set a higher price, for donating purposes, I mean, I'm trying to think like, what do I personally have? Like, that's worth a lot of money. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I got a Troy Aikman signed golf ball that says, a Hall of Fame, it's literally his personal golf ball with his signature. He signed it for me. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I don't know either. I'm not real good at that. Let me think on it. Listen,
yeah.
I better go.
No, it's all good. Hey, I thank you so much for doing this and appreciate it. It was cool. I'll cut this into a couple pieces, like at least 3 pieces. I'll edit out that part at this last half hour.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I'll connect with you and I'll send you some other stuff for the keychains and stuff. Okay.
Oh, that'd be dope. Yeah. Thank you so much, Robyn. I appreciate it. And drive safe, over the next couple of days on your trips and travels. Tell your daughter what's up and like congratulations. I think that's awesome and everything. Should be freaking. That's super cool. Super proud, mommy. Congratulations.
All right.
All right. Well, take care. See you later.